So I want to talk about something that I spoke on a minute ago, and I stand on it, but I don't knock what everybody else do in their process. You know what I mean? Like you do what you gotta do for you at the end of the day. Like that's what I believe. So I spoke on people who study and they get into the books and all that. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking the books. If I do look at a book, I for in an innate reason, like my mind is set to see what you think you know. I don't even know why that's a particular thing for me. Ever since I was young, it's like I just knew shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I knew shit, you know what I mean? But I went through a series of events when I was born into this world. I came into this world and around 6 months old, I had a traumatic experience that my father told me that my heart stopped. I died. And I came back to life. You know what I'm saying? So I was like 6 months old when this took place. And see, I'm deaf in my left ear. I've been that way since then. You know what I'm saying? And I guess like from the start, that 6 months got pushed back, and it was like a reset. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to me, and I look at that as maybe a circumstance. It probably is not a circumstance. I probably wouldn't end up being the same individual without that. But if it was a traumatic experience that has something to do with it, I would put it on that. But for the most part, the way I study is I sit still. I mean, I know that might not be a particular for everybody else, but when I sit still and there is no sound and I could just focus on nothing, I get feelings. I feel things. And I feel whole stories sometimes. It can be particular situations. I'll get emotional. You know what I mean? I don't even know why. I'll just be sitting still and crazy strong emotion will hit me. And I'll feel like that emotion is mine. Sometimes I can sit outside and I can feel what the wind is saying. And I stay to myself a lot. I try not to involve myself in, you know, a lot of outside energies. I stay to myself and I stay within nature. I try to stay around trees a lot, you know what I mean, and next to water. And I meditate. I do I take in little I can be greedy sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really good and it's okay. Then sometimes I could pick out, you know what I mean, just like anybody else. But my normal ratio is moderate of how I do things. Like when I eat, everything is moderate. You know what I'm saying? And these things these things collectively keep me in a certain way of thinking. Now, I run across my homeboys here and there. You know what I mean? And we speak and different situations are opposed to me. And naturally, and if you ask any of my homeboys, they'll tell you I have a problem. I can solve problems naturally. Like I don't know, it's just something that I'm able to do. I can see it, understand it, comprehend it, figure it out, and fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of my knowledge that I deal with is the energies that are in the air, the resonant energies from the past, Akashic Records type energy. You know what I'm saying? I was understanding these premises a long time ago. And I've had different experiences that a normal person would not understand. You know what I mean? So if I had the records of when I took pictures of these things back in the day, then it would be a little different. But I've experienced some things. And just personal though, it got to the point to where it wasn't a need to I'm not boastful anyway. So like when things happen, I don't, oh my God, this is I don't go crazy about it. You know what I mean? I kind of revel in it. Like, wow, this is happening right now. And I revel in it in that moment. So if nobody's around, then I just keep it for myself as that experiences. Because I know experiences are fleeting. They're only, and then it's crazy because sometimes if you notice that something can happen to you, and then the excitement for that situation at that moment is there at that moment. So then when you explain it to somebody else, it's like they'll say you had to be there because explaining it, it wasn't the same effect when you gave it to somebody else as how you felt it. That's because the experience is empty. All experiences are empty. So it's no need for me to run and go tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? And this is what the world started doing. This is why they gave you social media. They gave you a reason to run and go tell somehow. When most of this stuff was for you to level up, to show you the capabilities if you do certain things, what will particularly happen. So I have a whole extensive knowledge on this of experiences that I've had for myself personally that allowed me to gain knowledge. And it had nothing to do with me particularly picking up a book and studying. Now, I don't knock people who do that. That's the literal mind. Like people who have that literal mind, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be nice in that aspect. So I'm not going to even tell you that you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that, you know, you should do it my way. You know, do it what makes you feel best because you're a perception dialed in into your two eyes and that perception. That's an increment. I can never stand in the exact same space where you are at the exact same time. I can't, it's impossible because your physical body is in your space. So how you see things is just how you see it. How you do things is how you do it. And that's important. So for me to come in between that is me messing with creation. I wouldn't do that, you know. So if that works for you, so be it. But how I do it is this way. And the knowledge that I got, it came from these processes. And if I had to go say, here, I can prove it to you, there's people who can tell you they know I won't pick up a book, but they know I drop truth. And you can cross reference the things I say to past situations or something similar to the knowledge of other people. I'm not going to say I don't watch individuals, you know what I'm saying? But I have my own mind. You know what I mean? I've been a rebel since I was a kid. I've stated this in another bill that I did a while ago. I've been this way since I was about 3, able to speak and speak fully. You know what I mean? I got disciplined a lot as a kid for saying things, and people thought I was too young to say because what I noticed or was able to notice. So subsequently, after I meditate, um, indicative to whatever situation, I always get a piece of knowledge that I can understand. Like even it might be just a little thing, you know what I'm saying? Like little small things. And I did that for years. Like I would notice how wind would blow in a certain way and a circumstance would come to my mind and I can see the outcome of that and I'll be like, wow, like just watching that outcome, even if it played out or not, I can see how something can actually take place. And that knowledge would compile to other things. And it would constantly be me in my mind looking at these things like this, just looking at situations in life or creating a synopsis for situations just in my own head and calculating these things to be whatever it possibly can be with no judgment to it. Most of the time we think about things, we judge it according to how we feel about things. I don't think like that. The smart old head told me years ago, he said, yo, your mind is deep the way you think, the way you see things. He was like, but when you are able to see it from someone else's perception, that's going to make you even sicker with your mind. And I didn't understand what he was saying. He's like, comprehend what somebody else is saying, even while you're speaking. Watch how more dynamic you become. So over the years, this was years ago. This is probably like 20 years ago. Over the years, I started paying more attention, listening clearly, and I would have debative situations with some of the homies and we would talk about knowledge. And then as soon as I was able to understand that that was their perception from that angle that they seen it, it was never a right or wrong for me. It was because that's how you see it at that current moment and it's correct. I didn't have to I didn't have to put myself in a situation to to deliberate with an individual when I see that that's just particularly how they see it. And because I don't see it that way, doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong either. So that understanding in itself started showing me how to learn more things in a different attribute. Some people get in a mix of a conversation with people, and someone can ultimately say to you, I'm sorry I did something, or I made you feel some type of way. And then you'll ultimately accept that. You'll ultimately be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I accept your apology. Oh, it's cool, don't worry about it. If you do something to me and we just get to know each other, or whatever, and you feel like you have the audacity to apologize, depending on how I feel about you, I'm going to tell you more than likely, if I know you or don't know you like that, I'm going to tell you that you don't have the power to have the position to make me feel some type of way. So you didn't do anything to allow you to aggress yourself to apologize for. If anything, you showed me who you were. I don't need an apology. You know what I'm saying? Watching you is something different. Like learning about the animal before I engage with the tiger, that's something different. I'm just learning as a tiger. Yeah, there's no need to apologize. That's who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these understandings coupled with a bunch of other things that I have going on in my noodle, you know what I'm saying, always compiles and leads me down a road to truth. And leaning on my own understanding is not a true retrospect. I have to sit still. Like I have to sit still and let go. And when I let go of my own feelings of how I feel about things and I sit still, a feeling comes, the right feeling. Majority of the time, it's always sequestered with unconditional love. Like it always goes back to that. Like if you can't solve it with unconditional love, just let it go until you can find a better way of a higher understanding way to solve the issue. So for the most part, things don't always get solved with love. Things get solved with leaving it alone. And I've learned that too. This has been taught to me since I was born into this world. Letting things be. It's love or let it be. Give it unconditional love or let it be. Those two things guided a lot of roads that kept me in a good situation as I learned things in life. I can't say that I haven't gotten fights and scuffles and stuff like that, or been the aggressor, you know what I'm saying, or been wrong in so many different ways. Like, who hasn't? You know what I mean? Just I'm imperfect, but in the same fact, if you're not learning from your own actions as you go along, you're not going to possibly get a chance to learn from anything else. Like, I don't see the point in jumping into learning something when you haven't learned the basis of what you are and when in learning. I ain't gonna even hold you, man. Just making a point. So you learn how you learn best, but make sure you do it to the fullest of its intention and be real with you. Because that's the only person you gotta be real with. Respect. Naga.